Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of My View. And yes, that is a chair on top of the table. Your left is my right. There. And today's topic is... Oh look, there's a chair. Today's topic is a topic that's been kind of in my peripheral thoughts for a while now, and it's this: when actually did sport stop becoming sport and it became a business? Because, as you know, everybody knows, regardless of the sport, it can be for football, tennis, rugby, badminton, hockey, slalom, curling, bobsleigh, skiing, handball, kite flying, horse racing, sailing ships, hang gliding, plane racing, shooting, toe wrestling, tiddlywinks, and that cricket game. Regardless of the sport, if people don't actually turn up to watch it, if people don't actually pay to watch it, then it's not going to exist as a sport. So I was trying to figure out at what point did sport stop being sport and became a business? Because at one time sport was played purely for the enjoyment of sport. Don Bradman played cricket, but he had to work a second job in order to support himself. There was a time when all cricketers, all footballers, all rugby players, anybody who played organised sport, played it as like a side hobby. But in order to support themselves, they actually got a real job. And they played because they loved the sport. So at what point did sport die and became a business? And I figured it out. I actually figured it out, the exact day and the exact date. And this is sort of like universal for all sport. That date was September the 34th, which doesn't exist, because September the 34th, 4th, is really October the 3rd, 1958, or 59. 1959. That was the day that sport died. It was a terrible thing. It was in all the papers. Sport was just happily walking along, and then one day it was like, oh, I've had it, and then down it went, only to pop up a second later as commercialized sport. And basically, real sport died with the advent of professionalism, because what we're seeing now isn't real sport. It's just a commercial business. It's a commercial business which puts out a product that people buy to see. If people don't buy it, no more product. If people suddenly stopped watching football, then there'd be no football. There'd be no World Cup. If all of those viewing audiences started saying, we're watching tiddlywinks, we'd have tiddlywink leagues, and we'd have a tiddlywink World Cup, and then every 4 years, where the world champions will be people like me, and the fine physical specimen of blubber that I am. And I'd be sort of in the papers for getting £150 million contract for playing for Tiddlywinks FC for for 5 years, and then people would kind of like stick it around saying he's overpaid him. All he does is wink. He never tiddles. When did he ever tiddle? He's never tiddled. And he gets paid £150 million every year or so. I don't bloody know. And that's like another thing. Wayne Rooney signed for £250,000 odd pound, £300,000, and everybody is going, oh, that's 15-16 million pound a year. And go, oh, and I go, oh. Right, here's the thing. Rooney probably brings in 30 to 35 million pounds of income to Man U every year. Steven Gerrard at Liverpool is exactly the same. Now, people have been saying, oh well, Gerrard wants to stay, but he wants a big contract, and so some people are saying, well, is it worth giving a 35-year-old a massive contract for a year when you could use all of that 10-15 million cash on just buying a new younger player? It would immediately free up all of these funds. But you have to weigh that against the marketing pull of Steven Gerrard. Now, Steven Gerrard probably pulls in 35 million quid every season for Liverpool. He's Liverpool's biggest name player. He's going to sell at least 1 million t-shirts all across the world every season. And so, if 20 quid a t-shirt, 1 million a year, that's 20 million a year, he pays for himself. And this is where the business side comes into it, because technically it makes sense to keep Steven Gerrard in Liverpool, because if you take Steven Gerrard out of Liverpool, name one marquee player. Name one marquee player And this is the manager's fault for buying shit. Name one marquee player if you take Steven Gerrard out of that team. I mean, right, right. I'm struggling to think of even one. I mean, the manager got given what, 110 million quid, and virtually every single player who he's bought has flopped. He wasted 110 million pounds. He thought, right, I'll buy 5 or 6 players and bring them in, and then that'll make up for Luis Suarez. And that probably shows you why Barcelona paid what, 65 to 70 million pounds for him, because here's Liverpool's manager who bought 6 to 7 players in and still wasn't able to replace him. So but perhaps the business side, because now in sport it's not enough to play the sport, there has to be entertainment. And so I'm kind of wondering why is sport better off for that? I don't know. I mean, you've got situations where the West Indies players are refused to play a test series in India because they believed that they were being compensated for their efforts. And when you consider how much the West Indies board were getting and then how much they were paying out, I still say the West Indies players had a genuine gripe, because it's kind of like the West Indies is kind of like given I don't know, a whole cake to eat, and then they just cut off the bits of the icing and then give that to each individual player, which isn't fair. If you're getting, say, 40 million a series in income, although it's probably not 40 million in income, it's probably more right. If you're getting $10 million for that particular series as the West Indies touring team, then they should at least be sharing at least what, 2.5, 3 million with that, with the touring squad. I don't know, because it's only fair, because they're the ones who are generating the income, so they should get a proper valued wage. And so this is but though on the flip side of it, all of that cash means arguments, which means no tour, no sport. So conventional sport, the spirit of sport is dead, because now people don't play for the sport, they pay for the cash. And if you went through a England in cricket is to now, yeah. And you said, right, well, we're going to scrap the central contracts, and we'll just pay you on like a series per series basis, whereby you'll get like say 100 grand for like every series that you play. The head would probably say, right, I'm just going to play T20 now because of the money. And so, and you know, like they talk a great game, and like they like and talk about, oh well, how the sport's the important thing, the sport has to survive, but would they play it for free? No. And I mean, like, take in cricket and for football, virtually all of the quote-unquote pundits are ex-footballers and like ex-cricketers. And it's like kind of like it's kind of like inside a boys' club where it's kind of like, well, we made a whole load of cash as players, and now we want to make a whole load of cash as commentators, and nobody else is allowed in. Nobody other than a ex-professional footballer or ex-professional cricketer can raise a salient, cogent point about either game. So I mean, like, people like Don Bradman and Sir Tom Finney and Sir Stanley Matthews, Bobby Charlton, Dixie Dean, Ron Yates. These guys were real sportsmen because they loved the game. And they loved it so much that they were prepared to work a proper job and then do this on top of that. Now, if you went to like Virat Kohli and said, right, well, you've got to train for cricket, and also from Monday to Friday you have to put in a full day's work at say like a manufacturing plant or like on a farm or like in a office, he'd probably say nah. And if I was him, I'd say nah too. But it's kind of like I'm saying this because I've been watching the Australia-India Test match, and it's at Adelaide or Adelaide, and it's the first Test in a Australia-India series, which should be massive, yet the place is barely a quarter full. It's barely a quarter full. I'm like, this is in Australia, a place that's supposed to be one of the kind of mainstay powerhouses of cricket, and this is one of the biggest series that there is. Possibly even bigger than the Ashes. Yeah, the place was only a quarter full. If you go to India for a Test match, it's even worse. And now that all of the star names have gone, you have got to ask yourself, is that trend going to go down or go up? Because India currently in Test cricket is almost number 7th. I mean, like it's like the lowest that that's been ever. I mean, no, and so like Indian fans are very fickle fans because if the team breaks out of whatever it is and it wins, they'll be oh yeah, you know, we always supported you, we love you, we always supported you, we always knew that you could do it, you're the best, you're the best. And like they'll be going, oh, you know, you're the best. But then if they lose, they grab stones, go round to their houses, and then brick the windows. And you know, and sort of right now the Indian team is not doing particularly well in Test cricket. And so you know, I've got fears for Test cricket. I really do. Because you know, like attendances are on the wane, and so you know, if the attendances aren't there and the TV audiences aren't there, then you know, no one is going to want to watch it. So, and you know what? Maybe that's like a good thing, because maybe it would be good to kind of go back to that. Well, you know, people just playing sport for the sake of the sport, because you know it meant a lot more then. It meant a lot more, because with central contracts, you know, whether you win or you lose, you still get paid. You know, the Indian players, Australian players, maybe not the West Indian players, but you know, in general, the players, if you win or you lose, you get paid. So you know, anyway, that was just like a random thought that I just, you know, put it. See you later.